This episode is sponsored by Kinsta. Between juggling client meetings, managing your website, and keeping up with everyday tasks, who has the time to stress out about website security? Well, with Kinsta, the technical stuff is taken care of, so you can focus on what you do best. Kinsta provides managed hosting for WordPress, offering lightning-fast load times, top-tier security, and unmatched human-only customer support. Whether you're a business owner, web developer, or running a digital agency, Kinsta makes managing your website easy and efficient. Kinsta provides enterprise-grade security, being one of the few hosting providers for WordPress with SOC 2 and other certifications, guaranteeing the highest level of security for your website. Thanks to their unlimited free expert-led migrations, Kinsta ensures a smooth transition for you from other hosting providers. Customers have reported 200% faster load times post-migration to their platform. What I find cool about Kinsta is their fast and reliable customer service and premium features that are included at no extra cost. Ready to experience Kinsta's hosting for yourself? Get your first month free when you sign up at kinsta.com today. That's KINSTA.com.
I'm Rohan Karamandi.
And I'm Phil Hawthorne, and we're the hosts of the Home Assistant podcast.
We're guessing you're into technology. Home Assistant is the #1 open source contributor project on GitHub with a focus on privacy and local control.
Join us every other week as we break down the latest features on Home Assistant and talk to everyday users who are automating their lives with Home Assistant.
From feeling like you're living in Star Trek with lights turning on in rooms when you walk in, to automating flushing the toilet, Home Assistant can integrate with virtually anything, and we've interviewed everyday people like yourselves that have done some pretty crazy automations.
Listen to the Home Assistant podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or find us on YouTube, or visit homeassistant.fm.
Today's episode is brought to you by RapidCloud. Did you know that 53% of users abandon a website that takes more than 3 seconds to load? For businesses relying on WordPress, every second counts for user experience, conversions, SEO rankings, and revenue. And that's where RapidCloud comes in. RapidCloud is a high-performance managed WordPress hosting solution with advanced technologies like Lightspeed Enterprise and Object Cache Pro designed to deliver lightning-fast load times and handle the demands of today's dynamic websites. Whether you're running an e-commerce store, online learning platform, or a bustling media site, RapidCloud ensures lightning-fast performance, unmatched scalability, and enterprise-grade security, all backed by 24/7 expert support. RapidCloud empowers developers, business owners, and agencies to deliver seamless online experiences without ever worrying about downtime or slow load times. Use the promo code CODESTORY to get up to 25% off on all annual plans and 10% off monthly subscriptions. Offer valid for 2 billing periods only. That's promo code CODESTORY, all one word. Visit www.rapid.cloud and get started today. That's RAPYD.cloud.
On the talent network side, it was the processes, and then obviously that's on the technology side, the processes, the code, what the code is doing. So you try to make it much more streamlined. It's taken quite a bit of iterating. And I think that's how I like to build too. I like to set out a plan, of course, with scalability in mind, but not kill myself thinking about how something is going to work when we have 1 million users before we even get something out to have 100. In that approach, you're going to need to refactor code as you go along, and that's better than over killing yourself thinking, the solution for 1 million users before you have 100. I'm Gino Ferrand, and I'm founder and head of product at Tekla.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do
took
next.
many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
Most
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was a
Yes,
pain.
we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took
you.
it off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really
It's
want it.
not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Labpark, and today how Gino Ferrand is helping you build your Nearshore team of remote AI-enabled engineers in the same time zone. This episode is sponsored by Speakeasy. Grow your API user adoption and improve engineering velocity with friction-free integration experiences. With Speakeasy's platform, you can now automatically generate SDKs in 10 languages and Terraform providers in minutes. Visit speakeasy.com/codestory and generate your first SDK for free. This message is sponsored by QA Wolf. QA Wolf gets engineering teams to 80% automated end-to-end test coverage and helps them ship 5 times faster by reducing QA cycles from hours to minutes. With over 100 5-star reviews on G2 and customer testimonials from SalesLoft, Drata, and AutoTrader, you're in good hands. Join the Wolfpack at QAWolf.com. Gino Ferrand is originally from Peru and moved to the United States when he was 12 years old. Now he lives in Seattle and is enjoying all that the Northwest has to offer. He's very much into sports, specifically soccer, and plays in an indoor league with a great community. He loves to travel and gets to often with the work he does. And when it comes to food, he is very evangelistic about Peruvian food and encourages people to try every chance he gets. Gino attended the University of San Diego and was really into startups. He was building mobile games for the iPhone in 2012 while living back in Peru for a short time. He hired a few engineers from back home, which started him on the journey of understanding the great talent in South America. This is the creation story of Tekla.
So Tekla, we've been doing this for 12 years. And basically what we do at Tekla is we help technology companies in the US build nearshore engineering teams. So basically what that means is typically we're connecting with VPs of engineering, head of software development, CTOs, founders. Typically they have a team in the US, of course, and they've been growing quite well. And now they're looking into also leveraging talent that is offshore, but they are interested in bringing on remote developers that can work in US time zones. So that's pretty much the number one thing that we hear when we talk to new companies is they want to work with people that can collaborate seamlessly, same time zone. We have a network of curated engineering talent in Latin America that really spans from Mexico down to Chile, Argentina, Brazil, every country in South and Central America. And so we're basically using our platform and our recruiting team to, bring forth the best candidates for them to interview and hire. And then we take care of all of the compliance, employment, and sort of the HR piece for them. I went to school in the University of San Diego. I was very into startups back then. By the time I graduated, I think I had started a couple, and just recently actually I found the paperwork for like my first LLC that I formed back in California. And then after graduating, I was building mobile games actually for the iPhone back in the day. So this is 2012. I decided to move back to Peru for a little bit. Wanted to change, wanted to reconnect with friends and my community back in Peru. So I went back home and started hiring a couple of engineers for this mobile game that we were working on. That's how I got started interviewing and just understanding the engineering talent that was in South America a bit better. And I had a lot of friends that from school that were also entrepreneurs and they were also working on startups. And so once they found out that I had built this team for this startup I was working on, they started reaching out and basically they were like, hey, we're looking for a couple of engineers with these profiles and can you help us out? And so it was pretty organic how we started. Eventually that mobile game startup fizzled out. And that's when I started working on Tekla basically full time.
Tell me about what you would consider, the quote unquote MVP for Tekla, right? That first version of Tekla that you created, that you were bringing to life. How long did it take you to get to that point? And what sort of tools were you using to bring it to life?
I always think of our MVP as the very first iteration of our network, actually, because at the end of the day, our product is our talent network. That was like the very first thing we did was start putting together a network of really elite software developers. But once we started doing that, obviously, we started recognizing that we needed certain tools. We needed to build something that would help us with the process of keeping all of the profiles and enriching each profile with the kind of skills that each person had and resume and everything like that. So building out the profiles and then working on the matching system. So that's, when we started working on like the technology MVP. The very first step towards that was actually working on some back-end tools. So it was still working on, like I was saying, developing the profiles and all of that, but it wasn't like a front-facing tool for clients at that point. So it was really just for our internal processes and helping us with the database aspect of it. I think that was the very initial stage for the product that Tekla is now. But now it's obviously client-facing as well and has grown a lot, but it started with those back-end tools.
So in starting with those tools, in starting with building the platform, the evolution of the network, right? You have to make certain decisions and trade-offs when you're forming that first version of anything, right? And I'm curious about some of those decisions and trade-offs you had to work through and how you coped with them.
For me, like one of the things that I like to do is work with the technologies that the team knows. Obviously, there's so many buzzwords in software development all the time, and I think that now with AI, it's even more. But back in the day, of course, with React just coming out and Angular and all of these different technologies that people are trying to work with, we had a great team that understood JavaScript really well. And so for us, it was a matter of going with the technologies that we knew. So I think that one of the biggest trade-offs was that it was, let's not try to chase like the newest shiny stack, and let's actually just work with the tools that we know how to work with. And I think that was a great decision because it's been a very scalable process from the technology side, but also from the hiring side.
This message is sponsored by SnapTrade. Link in user brokerage accounts and build world-class investing experiences with SnapTrade's unified brokerage API. With over $12 billion in connected assets and over 300,000 connected accounts, SnapTrade's API quality and developer experience are second to none. SnapTrade is SOC 2 certified and uses industry-leading security practices. Developers can use the company's official client SDKs to build investing experiences in minutes without the limitations of traditional aggregators. Get started for free today by visiting snaptrade.com/codestory.
I'm so pumped about my new offshore dev partner. I'm saving a ton, and they even signed an NDA. Wait, is that our financial statements on the internet?
My dev partner has great communication. They can acknowledge an issue or email message super fast after they run it through Google Translate, of course.
I have a call set up with my partner right now. Hey guys, are you there? Wait, did you just ghost me?
Ever been in these situations? Yeah, me too. That is, until I found Tekla. Tekla is world-class, nearshore talent for technology teams who demand the highest standards. The platform gives you access to over 50,000 vetted Latin America technology experts, including developers, designers, and IT professionals, all fluent in English and all in your time zone. In 7 days or less, you can have your tech expert hired through Tekla's fast, efficient hiring process, which helps you find and onboard top candidates. Get senior-level talent at competitive rates, often half the cost of hiring in the U.S., but aligned with U.S. work culture and time zones, making teamwork easy and productive. Hire the best tech experts today with Tekla. Learn more at tekla.io. That's TECLA.io. This episode is sponsored by Speakeasy. Whether you're growing the user adoption of your public API or streamlining internal development, SDKs can turn the chore of API integration into effortless implementation. Unburden your API users from guessing their way around your API while keeping your team focused on your product. Shorten the time to live integration and provide a delightful experience for your customers. With Speakeasy's platform, you can now automatically generate up-to-date, robust, idiomatic SDKs in 10 languages and Terraform providers in just a matter of minutes. SDKs are feature-rich with type safety, auto-retries, and pagination. Everything you need to give your API the developer experience it deserves. Deliver a premium API experience without the premium price tag. Visit speakeasy.com/codestory to get started and generate your first SDK for free. This episode is sponsored by Vanta. You're a startup founder. Finding product market fit is probably your number one priority. But to land bigger customers, you also need security compliance. And obtaining your SOC 2 or ISO 27001 certification can open those big doors. But they take time and energy pulling you away from building and shipping. And that's where Vanta comes in. Vanta is the all-in-one compliance solution helping startups like yours get audit ready and build a strong security foundation quickly and painlessly. How, you ask? Vanta automates the manual security tasks that slow you down, helping you streamline your audit. And the platform connects you with trusted experts to build your program, auditors to get you through audits quickly, and a marketplace for essentials like pen testing. So whether you're closing your first deal or gearing up for growth, Vanta makes compliance easy. Join over 8,000 companies, including many Y Combinator and Techstars startups who trust Vanta. For a limited time, get $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/codestory. That's VANTA.com/codestory. Okay, so then moving forward from that point, how have you progressed and matured your talent network, the things you're using to build your business? How have you progressed and matured that? I think to wrap that in a box a little bit, which is, this applies more for your business, is what was the roadmap? How did you decide the next most important thing to build or to address with Tekla?
It was more like pull from customer demand, what they wanted the most in the product. Yeah, that's something that we've always been really close to our customers, trying to understand what it is that they actually value from our technology. And I guess since we are a company that I'd say we're more of a tech-enabled service and a tech-enabled company. We're not a fully focused on technology company. We're not a SaaS product, right? And that has, in a way, helped us a bit, I think, because customers are still getting the value, which is at the end, interviewing and hiring really great people. That's what they come to us for. And so the technology is more like it really helps and it's made the process a whole lot better, but it's not like they needed it from the start. And so it's actually helped us be able to go through the process a little bit more patiently, because once we understand what it is the customer actually values, then we'll build that. We're really not in a hurry to put in 1 million features into this platform because there's competition that has more features, or companies are looking to put in a new press release of all the features that the new update has or something like that. And so I guess we're just not really measured by the number of features that we're putting out, but rather really just building out things that the customers, this would really make my life a lot easier. And then also our recruiting team internally, because most of our technology really is for our internal recruiters, because we really see the future of hiring still being very human and not being completely AI or something like that. And so a lot of our tools are for our recruiting team. And so we have these conversations with everyone on the team to decide what to build next.
Okay, so I hear you mentioning team quite a bit. I'm curious about how you went about building that team. And what do you look for? What did you look for? What do you look for in those people to indicate they're the winning horses to join you?
For me personally, and this is something that I always work with clients on when they also want to know how to improve their hiring processes, we're looking at vetting soft skills just as much as technical skills. Of course, we're looking for people that have experience working with certain technologies and can go through coding challenges and solve them, and of course have that technical aptitude. But I think that I try to not over-index just technical aptitude. There's some companies that want to do just a whole bunch of tests and automate the hiring process to hire whoever scores highest on some sort of standardized test. The problem with that is you're not really taking into consideration how good the developer is at communicating and working within a team and rolling up their sleeves and being a part of a team and maybe not having too much of a freelancer attitude, or maybe so independent that they don't work well with other team members, and also problem solving from a little bit higher level than just coding solutions, but like architecture and stuff like that. And so we try to focus on a lot of information that we can gather from conversations, more than just the coding assessments and more than just the technical aptitude, which of course we measure. But I think character is so underappreciated and so under focused when hiring, I feel like, especially by technical leaders in my experience.
This message is sponsored by QA Wolf. If slow QA processes bottleneck your software engineering team and you're releasing slower because of it, you need a solution. You need QA Wolf. QA Wolf gets engineering teams to 80% automated end-to-end test coverage and helps them ship 5 times faster by reducing QA cycles from hours to minutes. With over 100 5-star reviews on G2 and customer testimonials from SalesLoft, Drata, AutoTrader, and many more, you're in good hands. Ready to ship faster with fewer bugs? Join the Wolf Pack at QAWolf.com to see if they can help you squash the QA bottleneck. This message is sponsored by SnapTrade. Link in-user brokerage accounts and build world-class investing experiences with SnapTrade's unified brokerage API. With over $12 billion in connected assets and over 300,000 connected accounts, SnapTrade's API quality and developer experience are second to none. SnapTrade is SOC 2 certified and uses industry-leading security practices. Developers can use the company's official client SDKs to build investing experiences in minutes without the limitations of traditional aggregators. Get started for free today by visiting snaptrade.com/codestory. Let's talk about scalability. This will be super interesting because your product is your network. To scale people can be difficult, right? And I'm sure there are things that maybe help you scale your business in certain ways. And I'm curious about those things. And I'm curious about, have there been interesting areas or stories around where you've had to fight it as you've grown?
In terms of the talent network, scaling that obviously is just a matter of having the right processes. And I think that it's similar to what it's like scaling the technology side of it, because obviously as we grow the network and now we have over 50,000 registered tech professionals on the platform, then it also becomes a technical problem, of course. We started with just a few hundred, and basically it's hard to make a slow app for just a few hundred profiles. So it's always going to work pretty fast in the beginning, and you don't see the type of problems that you're going to have in the future. And now that we're dealing with thousands and thousands of profiles and applications, the platform is much more data intensive. There's been a lot of things that we've had to do to refactor and improve and iterate on. At the end of the day, on the talent network side, it was the processes. And then obviously that's on the technology side. The processes, of course, is the code and what the code is doing. So you try to make it much more streamlined and make it much more efficient. So yeah, on both sides, I think it's taken quite a bit of iterating. And I think that's how I like to build too. I like to set out a plan, of course, with scalability in mind, but not kill myself thinking about how something's going to work when we have 1 million users before we even get something out to have 100 users. So obviously, in that approach, you're going to need to refactor code as you go along. And I think that's better than over killing yourself thinking, the solution for 1 million users before you have 100 customers even.
I'm curious, as you step out on the balcony and you look across all that you've built with Tekla, what are you most proud of?
Definitely the connections that we've made, right? We've helped, I think, now thousands of companies hire in a region where they maybe had not hired before. that has created these connections, which give us definitely a lot of pride on both sides, right? For the candidates that are in Latin America and working remotely and now full-time team members and a part of these great companies in the US, and vice versa, right? Also with the companies in the US, we've brought on great people for them onto the team. So I think that number one, it's the connections. Number two, it's what we've built internally with our team members. We're a team of about 20 right now, and we're fully distributed, fully remote. You know, that culture that we've been able to grow as a remote team and just the connections that we've built as a company. And then third, the platform that we've built. Today, we've incorporated so many APIs from OpenAI and so many different new like AI players and tools that are helping us automate processes, that are helping us just be so much more efficient without getting rid of the human side. Because I get emails every day, someone trying to sell me like a fully automated, fully AI recruiting solution. Even like interviewing the candidates is going to be done by a bot and it's video and whatever. I don't feel like that's at least the near term future. We're actually using AI in our platform to make the human interaction more important, like for recruiters to have more time on conversations with the talent in our network. And so building the connections.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
Early on, we tried to work quite a bit with hundreds of technical mistakes. But as you go along, you fix them, and no mistake is ever too critical or too difficult to build when you have that like product market fit. And when you have a customer and when you've got an actual business, I think that the technology side, the challenges are all fixable. But I think one of the biggest ones when we started was we were trying to work with a lot of different applicant tracking systems, ATS solutions that are out in the market. And we were trying to rely on them. We were like, they have so much, they have so many features. Why don't we just build something that can integrate with those solutions? I think that was one of the biggest mistakes technically, because we spent so much time trying to do integrations, workarounds, because those solutions didn't have the features and they just didn't work for us as a business, right? They were more for like corporate internal recruiting and internal hiring. And so it really slowed us down. And I thought we were saving money, saving time by leveraging this existing technology. And usually that is the right answer, I think, like to not reinvent the wheel and spend so much more starting from scratch or building something totally custom. But in this case, I'm so glad that we eventually decided to build something completely custom and do everything on our platform, the applications of candidates, processing each application. And then now we're able to use so many of these APIs and tools popping up in the AI space that are helping us just move so much faster. Like if we had stayed just integrating with another ATS, then we would never be able to do what we're doing now. We would be like build something custom from scratch, basically. So that slowed us down quite a bit.
So let's move forward then. What does the future look like for Tekla, for what you offer, and for your team?
The future really is integrating as much as we can. Of course, everything happening in the natural language processing field that is obviously helping us do so many things that are time intensive and very time consuming. So those things, that's really the future for what we're trying to do with the platform, is to automate a lot of things so that our recruiting team can spend more time actually talking to customers, talking to candidates, and building those human relationships. And so we're trying to really focus on automation and obviously how we can leverage AI for the platform. For the network, that's also what we're focusing on heavily. It's actually training our network, helping them understand and be able to work with the latest AI tools in software development. So we're investing quite a bit in bringing workshops and bringing educational content because we've noticed that customers are really trying to hire developers who work in their time zone, so are cost effective, save money, extend their runway, but that also really understand how to work with Copilot and Cursor and all of these great programming tools that can help engineers basically be way more efficient and productive. So that's something that we're looking forward to in terms of our talent network. As far as our team, I think just continue to make these great connections, continue to meet great companies that are looking for engineering talent, and continue to give great opportunities to talent in Latin America.
Gino, let's switch to you. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
I have a small circle of close friends who are entrepreneurs, and they are the ones that inspire me the most because they're close to me and I get to talk to them and see what they're thinking. And they typically are entrepreneurs who bootstrap their businesses. So they're looking at getting to revenue as quickly as possible, getting to profit, thinking about the business models. I like founders like Patrick Collison, I think is his name, at Stripe, and Jason Fried at Basecamp, and people who stay close to their product and the customer, even at huge scale, like companies that they run, they stay close to the product and the customer. Those are the type of people that I read when they're publishing books, new blog posts or whatever, and definitely try to learn from them. But entrepreneurs who are bootstrapping, for me, they hit a bit different. It's more relatable for me because Tekla was bootstrapped. I started it with $10,000, and that's what got us to this point as a starting amount of money. To me, that's always more relatable than entrepreneurs that are raising a lot of money. And of course, building great things too. I really admire what they're doing. It's just less relatable.
Gino, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
I tend to not give a lot of advice because I think that, number one, I really think it's typically a road that has the most teachings at a personal level based on experience type of thing, and everyone's road is different. But when I do talk to entrepreneurs who are starting something for the first time, I tell them to understand that things take quite a bit. And I think in the past, or at least when I was living in the Bay Area in 2012, and I think this was one of the peaks of like entrepreneurs trying to be the next Zuckerberg, and everyone's trying to get to billions of dollars in a matter of a year or 2 years. I try to tell entrepreneurs that good things take time. I know that there's the contradicting advice of you have to pivot fast, and if something's not working out, then you have to know as soon as you can and pivot. The thing is pivoting, but not too quickly, and maybe not giving up on something that needed a bit more time to iterate on and that was on the right track. I guess that's probably what differentiates a lot of success cases from failures. But Tekla has been something I've worked on for the past 12 years, and it continues to be better and better every year. And it's not going to be $1 billion exit, but it's a business that I enjoy and that has taken this amount of time for a reason. Yeah, I would say not try to think that something isn't worthwhile just because it doesn't pan out in a year or something like that.
I think that's excellent advice. Well, Gino, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of Tekla.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really, thank you for having me.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
Are you looking for legit ways to make extra money? Our friends at The Side Hustle Show have put together this cool free 60-second quiz to help you do just that. All you got to do is go to hustle.show. You can do it right from your phone. Answer a few short multiple choice questions, and it'll recommend a few episodes of the hit Side Hustle Show podcast to start with. You can add your personalized Side Hustle Show playlist to your device, learn what works, and start making more money today. Again, that's at hustle.show, or follow the award-winning Side Hustle Show in your favorite podcast app.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bell. Carvana makes car buying easy. Isn't that right, hun? Dax?
Sorry, did you know about this 7-day money-back guarantee?
A week to evaluate seat comfiness, you say?
A week of terrain tests? Yeah, I can test the brake pad resistance at variable speeds.
Make sure all the kids' stuff fits nicely.
Make sure our stuff fits nicely.
Oh,
Right. Still need to buy the car. Getting ahead of ourselves here.
Buy your car with Carvana today.